Lord, I thank you. I thank you because you have placed us in this position for a reason. We come to this river to draw the wisdom every single week, to make sure that we are empowered, to make sure that our mindsets are shifting, to make sure that we are strengthened and encouraged so that we can go and run the race all over again without any fear, without any mercy, without any kind of frustrations and agitations, to put that all, to cast it upon you and to say that you who called us, you have our hands, you know our future, and you know where you're leading us. So today we bring two issues into your hands as people helpers. Number one is the lack of shifting, the stagnation that is happening in our individual lives. Whenever we see other people, we tend to feel they are running, they are flying. We tend to feel like they're getting there faster. We tend to feel like, but even those that we think are getting there faster, in their own capacities and their own life, they feel like things are not shifting. Lord, I pray that you will bring us to a place where we can keep our promises. When we promise to execute, when we promise to do something, that you will give us the strength, but not just the strength, that we will also make decisions in our lives to make sure that we follow through and make sure that we do what we need to do and make sure that we come back to it and make sure that we do not just throw it away. Lord, I pray that you will make it easy in our minds, that you will give us the clarity, that you will give us the focus, that we will give us the laser focusedness, that we'll be able to focus on those items, the things that will actually move the needle, and not waste times on the things that are going to waste our time, because those are the so many things. And we tend to do those things that are time wasters, and we feel like they're taking us somewhere. But again, they're not moving the needle at all. They're not moving our income. They're not moving our brands. They're not moving our content. They're not moving our consultations, our coaching, our speaking, our businesses. They are not moving anything. So we want to concentrate and focus on things that are moving the needle for the good of those that we are serving in this world. And number two, we pray for our health. We pray for every organ in our body. There will never be a report that your organ has failed, that your heart has failed, that your kidney has failed. Those sudden things that happen, that someone got a headache and died, that someone got a headache and went mad, those will never happen. You have called us to perfect health. You have called us to perfect health, that we will not die prematurely, but we will live to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living, that we will live to serve the people that we are supposed to serve, that we will live to serve the ends of the world, that we will live to travel to nations, that we will live to help other people, to hold their hands. And you know, as helpers, we are supposed to be stronger than those that we are helping. So our health must prevail. We must be strong in and out of our bodies. Lord, it doesn't matter, whatever situations that whatever dieties that we decide, whatever, give us the clarity of mind to know that we are not supposed to go overboard, that we are supposed to stay within the lane, that we are supposed to make the sober choices. But aside from all the choices, Lord, you are the one that is in charge of our health, the protection and the circle around our lives. Wherever we go, that accidents will never be anywhere in our ways, not in our children's ways. The hazards that happen rampantly, that are happening, that a certain electric wire fell somewhere, that a certain pole fell somewhere, that a certain car overturned somewhere, that is not going to happen in our lives. We are going to live to see the goodness of the Lord in the world of the living, but we are going to serve with all our health. We are going to have functioning limbs. We're going to have functioning body organs. We are going to thrive. We are going to flourish, and we are going to be grateful for the rest of our lives, because you are the one that is protecting us and putting a hedge of fire around us and our families and everyone that we love. In the name of Jesus, we have prayed. Amen. All right, so I'm so serious about these prayers because let me tell you, a lot of things are happening. A lot of things are happening out there. If the devil wanted to sniff your life in just a matter of seconds, microseconds, your life would be sniffed out. Okay, so we do not sustain ourselves if there is a higher power, a God that cares about us, that we can be able to run to and be able to pray and be able, and you know that prayer is really more about faith. Yeah, it just shows you that you have faith in He who that created you and called you, and that He's powerful, that He's greater than everyone else in the world. Okay? That anyone else, let me tell you, the things that we battle with, some of them are even spiritual. Some of them are even spiritual. You don't know them. Someone said a word in your family and said that girl children will never be like this, or will never mount to this. And that word, no one has ever crossed it out, okay? And maybe you've seen certain patterns. That's why it's so important as a people helper, go and map where you come from. What are the patterns that you are seeing? Don't say, oh, I'm a Gen Z. For me, when I go to those things, I don't want to know whatever is happening. No, eavesdrop on what your auntie is saying. Yeah? Eavesdrop on what your grandmother is saying. Because half the time they have the truths of what happened. You know, we were enemies with this family, and all of a sudden they did this, and all our children, our girl children, cannot get married. So now you have a prayer point. You're like, devil, yeah. You had kept me in ignorance, but now that I know I am opening up a war against you, I am going to get married, and every child I am going to give birth to is going to get married. So now you start a new generation. How are curse breakers and generational curse breakers going to happen? You cannot break something that you don't know. You can't. You only break something that you have access to. So get access. Go to your mother and say, you know, what happened around the time you gave birth to me, when you conceived me, they will tell you certain things. They were like, you know what, I was not a loved wife when I conceived you. I hated you from the womb, and I thought, but when I gave birth to you, okay, I learned to love you. You're like, there's something to break here. Yeah, there are some mothers that don't love their children. And they just don't feel it in their hearts to love them. But it's coming from somewhere, okay? The children end up being rejected by everyone. If the mother that carried you in her womb cannot love you, who is going to love you? There are people that have, and let me tell you, I have seen them, people that have, and this happens even to the people helpers. You have helped yourself, you have studied, you have gotten a skill, you have done all these things, but whenever you take your proposal, no one is looking at it. Whenever they mention your name, people get headaches. Yes. Whenever someone wants to come to buy to you, that is when they will see all the other products that are better than yours, and that is where they will go. And there is just something off. And you say, oh, Ninolu Twe, what have you done about it? Oh, I think the people in our place have a spirit of rejection. If you see it on your brother and your sister, do not hesitate to pray about you and cover yourself. And say, God, no, this is not my portion. Okay? So I need us to get serious about our lives, because, yeah, this is a spiritual warfare. A spiritual warfare. All right? So we're going to respond to Ruth's issue as we get along, because some of the things that are actually prepared for us to talk about today concerning exactly that, all right? But I just wanted us to go back to the characteristics, okay? Characteristics of powerful coaches or powerful people helpers as a number one thing that we actually look at today. Characteristics of powerful coaches, because this is a big industry, a very big industry. But I will tell you, I want us to be among the top people when it comes to this industry. Yeah. I don't want us to go with the other number, with the bandwagon. I want us to be able to stand out. But again, in order to stand out, there are certain traits that you must be able to exude as a person, all right? Whether you're into consulting, whether you're into coaching, whether you're into speaking, you want to be able to get to a place, and let me tell you, it's possible because I've seen it possible. You get to a place and, clearly speaking, you cannot gauge yourself. And this is not kwewanika, this is not feeling too good to be true, but when you know it in your heart, like it is stamped, and you're not competing with anyone, but you know that I'm actually outstanding. No, you've ever seen those kids that are first in class, right? And even if they don't read too much, even if they don't they don't do extensions, they don't do, and most of the times, by the way, they will even, some of them will become a bit braggant, of course. They will be like, you know what, wait and see what you're reading, and they will lift their legs and they'll be like, but let's wait at the end of the term and see exactly what happens. And they will come back on top of the class without too much hassle, right? Now, there's no formula to that as a student. But when you come to the coaching industry, there is definitely a formula for that. And number one is we concentrate on serving. We concentrate on serving. While others are concentrating on selling, on, making noise, on doing everything, we concentrate on serving. Now, the heart of a servant is a different kind of heart. A heart of a servant is a heart that is, for example, I have a headache right now, but I'm here. All right? A heart of a servant is one that pushes the boundaries. A heart of a servant is one that wants to give results. Have you ever served someone and you wanted them to be okay? You wanted them to be comfortable? You wanted them to, you thought ahead of them, right? If I just want to come and grab your money and just sell a product and this is transactional, you realize that I will speak differently, I will behave differently. But if you're planning to serve, you realize that the way you research, the way you think about people's issues, you want to over-deliver, you want to give results. You're like, you know what, this person should not go without getting exactly what they wanted. You're like, this person is coming to me, they have a relationship issue. They have to go away satisfied. Something has to be done about their issue. All right? So we concentrate on serving. So if we talk about characteristics, I just want us to just have a bit of overflow so that we can flow together. If we're saying, let me just say, we are here to serve. Now, the other thing is, we are not here to save. Okay? Because so many times we put a lot of weight, okay, on ourselves. We are not going to save the whole world. Because if you put it upon yourself, I am here to save, or I am a Jesus, that is how you are going to get burnt out. Now, a person who serves, they preserve themselves for those that they can be able to serve. A person who serves does not serve everyone. Do you know that? Yes. You choose the person to serve, to target. And you're like, you know what? This is where my blessing is. I am going to serve this person. If I am to die, let me die serving this person. This is where my blessing is. So serving is like sowing a seed. You cannot say, I am sowing everywhere, including the soil that is unfertile, including the road, including the shrubs, including the forest, and including and you're like, you know what, can't I say everywhere because I do not want to miss, I want to get a lot more. Now you have become a savior. Now, before you know it, you don't have time. You're agitated, your family is losing out, your children don't have anything, you are everywhere, doing everything, but not even nailing the results. So if you go out to save, the people that tend to want to save are people that are too merciful. And then people who are compromisers and people who are people pleasers. Those are out there to save. They're like, she came with a business problem, and then the other one came with this, and then with the other. So you're giving half-baked information everywhere in a way to save. But if you were serving, you would determine the time that you are serving, the meal that you are serving, and who you are serving. And I think we have gone through that, right? Yes. Let's go here. We make offers. That is why I was so serious when it came to saying that this cohort, we do not graduate minus a course, minus something that is tangible. Because when I tell you to create content, and I just tell you, go and create content. Do you know, sometimes you even start creating content and you start yawning. And you're thinking, I wonder what I'm going to create the content for. But the moment you have a product, now the product does not have to be too huge. There can be 3 modules like this. But it is solving a certain problem. You are serving a certain community. You know who you are serving. So every time you're thinking, you know what, this thing is just lying in my iPad, it's lying on my phone, it's on my YouTube. You're like, you know what? Let me put it out there. Let me tell people. Let me show people. Let me invite them to come and be able to participate in their own liberation, in their own getting better. So now, every day you're thinking, what's the other angle? How can I call these women? Let me just give an example. Let's give a quick example. Do we have a microphone around? Ariella, what kind of course are you planning to make?
I'm planning to make a course which helps single mothers to heal from the pain of their broken marriages.
Okay, you're trying to make a course to help women heal from the pain of broken marriages. Guys, now, because I want this to be very practical, that is too huge a course. That is too huge a course that no one will ever be able to achieve that with one course. All right? So now you have to go down to asking yourself, there are women that are stuck at, they don't want to date again. So now you decide and say, the women that went through marriage loss or the single mothers, helping them to date again. That is one sphere of the recovery process. Do we understand each other? It is one part of the recovery process. But every woman that is stuck, they're having a boyfriend, they're still sneaking out, they're still saying, you know what, my heart, I don't want to give it out. You are targeting them straight. Now, whenever you're creating content about guys, you must revamp your wardrobe. You can't say you're out there in the market and you want people to see you and you're still putting on like a single mother that is still frustrated and is locking herself out. Get out there, get some friends, go network, do. So now all those are angles of making your offer. You're like, I am helping women date again. Others are, I am helping women to love their children. Do you know that some of those women don't love their children?
Yeah.
That is an item. Now, those are not modules, because when you decide to have all those modules, you are handling a totally big thing, and yet you can make as many as 20 courses. So when someone comes for the dating thing, then they're like, but what more do you have to offer? Because every time you keep talking about how to love our children, but I realize because of the hurt that I went through, yes, I love my children, but there are times I feel so frustrated, and I have shown it to them. And now they're able to say, you know what, let me also get that course. And they're able to actually get onto it, because that course alone of children has multiple things. When do you introduce the man in your life to your children? How do you create time for them? How do you co-parent? Yes. Yes. Custody battles are like custody battles. So do you see that under children, there are so many modules that you can actually put? So just imagine if you decided to tackle it as a blanket thing, helping you to heal after a broken marriage. That means you're not specific, all right? So we make offers, but we make offers that are specific. So that someone can find, that is why I told you you are not a savior. If you want to be a savior, you will want to tackle everything. But if you want to serve, you will seek to serve, you will seek to refine that, you will seek to make it better, and people will keep, that is where people will, the referral basis starts. Because when someone is helped, they're like, you know what? I have a friend who is, because single mothers or single parents tend to be friends with single parents. They look at themselves. So when they get something good, they're like, there is something good here, come. This is very realistic. This person is speaking from experience. Because what is coaching? It's not even about the too many skills and what. It's about the experience that you bring to the table. That's all that people want. To speak like you understand what you are talking about. So we make the offers. So if you don't have an offer to make, you know that right now I'm giving you a headache to figure out what offer to make. Yes. Whether it's a checklist, whether it's a book, whether it's a course, you need to be able to give them something, because you can't keep teaching, encouraging, motivating and motivating. Where are you taking us? Where are you taking us? You should be able to lead us to somewhere where we can be able to bring them to your private community so they can be able to gain further from that. All right? Yes, they've been consuming your free content, but now it's time for you to bring them in so that they can have your paid content, so that they can get their specific problem actually met. Are we together? Okay. And then we charge our worth. The reason as to why some people are not selling and I've said this to so many coaching communities that I'm not even a member, is some people charge their offers very low. Now, to some of us, that is another level. But to some of, I need us to know it right from the start. Do you know there are people that will ask you about a certain offer, and then when you mention money that is low, they will not come? Yeah, they will not. There are people who will never consume your services at a certain price point. They'll be like, maybe she's figuring herself out. Maybe, yes, she's figuring herself out, or she still wants everyone. Right? And to those that not can't afford but are not willing, when you mention the price, they're like, but that is too high. That is not yours. That's why I say we are serving, we are not saving. Because if I decided to say that this mentorship, it's at, let me say, $200, that will be very easy entry for everyone, right? Yeah. This room will be filled. But if it's at $500, there will be few people. But those people will pay and they will show commitment. Because they decided this is what we want. Right? Now, I'm not saying that charge my prices. That is totally different. I've built this over time. But I need you to be able to know that there is a worth. People should see that this is worth it. This is something that could benefit them, and this is something that is going to help them. But the moment you're able to do this is so heavy. Know who you are serving. The moment you are here, then you will be able to understand what your offers are, and then you give the offers, and then you will understand that you have to be able to charge your worth. And then you will be able to create a mindset, because now a mindset is something that is so crucial. Because outside of that, I want us to be able to briefly talk about the mindset that we need. All right? So we have the 2% mindset. That's what we are here to develop. When you talk about the 2% mindset, that means there is a 98, right? That means there are so many people that are still on the side of the 98% versus the 2%. But they all have characteristics. And we're still in the flow of characteristics because we want to see what exactly fails some coaches, some experts, some speakers, some counselors from actually hitting the goals that they need to be able to hit in impact and in income. Because we are looking at both phases, right? Okay. Now, in 92%, it's about working smart. All right? 92%, it's about... The 2% is about working smart. Oh, there's a blue one. Thank you. The 2% is about working smart. We are not looking at competition because at 2% you're not competing with anyone. Because what I want is us to make switch. Some of us to make the switch to go from the 98 to go to 2. Some of us are already at 2. So that when we know the characteristics, we can be able to say, okay, let me just stick to what I have been doing. Because some of us always feel the need to cross over to the 92 because the bandwagon, when there are many people doing something, there is a temptation for us to feel that they are doing the right thing. They all have the same messaging. They're always saying the same thing. They're always positioning them the same way. So you're like, you know what? I think it's better I actually try it this way because it seems it's working for them. Not knowing that you have a different mindset and maybe yours is in the 2%, but you need to find out how exactly does the 2% work. All right? Now, the 2% has a notion, and this is where I have operated for the longest time. I am enough, and I don't need anything else to make me enough. That is a 2% mindset. I am enough. In 2%, you don't have the imposter syndrome. You're like, you know what? I came, and I really need to get this done, and I'm going to get this done at A level, not at any other level. So, do all of us fight with imposter syndrome? Yes, we do. But the people that are functioning at 2%, when they feel the imposter syndrome, they're like, you know what? As in, no one has it all figured out. We are all figuring it out, okay? So I might as well continue figuring it out. Yes. But the people in 92%, when they get the imposter syndrome, do you know what happens? They're like, I was lying to myself all the time. I thought I could do this. How many of us have ever felt that? I thought I could do this, but I think I was lying to myself. So let me stop lying to myself. You realize? And then there are some of us that are in transit or transitioning from the 92 to 2%. This is what happens. The imposter syndrome will kick in and you will feel agitated and frustrated. But guess what? The next time you're getting your ring light and you're shooting a video, right? Like, you're like, you know what? Yeah. I know that in the morning, I was beaten a bit. I saw people who were ahead. I saw people who are functioning well. With this internet where coaches are placing the money that they're earning and they're placing receipts, you know, and you're thinking, guys, people are actually making money on us while they are sleeping. But for us, we're just hearing crickets. You know, hearing crickets. And so you're like, you know what? This thing, I don't think it's for me. So it's better I actually go back, look for a job, or I actually hold tight to where I am, or, you know, I figure out something else that is workable with. And then all the things other people have told you will come back to you. Do you know what they usually tell you? You're getting spoiled. You want to do those things of Bahati. You know, like, ogende mpola, ogenda tukulaba, ogenda kulaluka, you know? Now, when they say all those things, then you're like, yeah, I think these people were actually, some of those are your mothers, some of those are your uncles, some of those, by the way, they're always the closest people. Because a person that is far away from you will never have anything. And guess what? The moment you stick on, the devil brings more people, strangers on internet that you even don't know about. And then they will start mentioning about your eyes, about your height, about the color of your skin. And then they will say you don't even know what you're talking about. They will even judge what you're talking about, how you're delivering. If you want to shoot better videos, that was totally unclear. We are only seeing your nose. And then, let me tell you, part of 2% mindset, sharpening it, is you preparing yourself to come against every negative idea that will ever come. The negative ideas will come. The negative people, the naysayers, the people that are going to attack you that don't know you. But guess what? Another characteristics of the 2%, they stay in their lane. They mind their business. Like they heavily mind their business. Now, let me warn you before you even go along. There are some of you who are going to be surprised at the rate, at the level or the rate at which you are going to turn down so many other gatherings. You're going to say no to so many things that you previously were saying yes to. But that mindset existed, okay? And now you know better that, by the way, this is not about the bandwagon. No. It's about what I know to be true inside of me, that I am called, that I am enough, that I have been equipped, that this is my season, and what I have, there are people that are actually looking for it. Yes. So now, I am going to serve it. I'm going to start cooking, but how I start cooking is not going to be the way that I'm going to end up cooking 5 years. That means I'm in the learning process, and it's okay to make some mistakes. I will make some mistakes here and there, but you realize that now you have decided that I am minding my own business. I am staying in my own lane. There are some people, the moment you go to them or the moment you gather with them, they start also seeing you in a certain way. But let me tell you, sometimes equipping and growth, the terrible growth, not the normal growth, requires isolation and separation. So God is going to take you away from the crowd, separate you, and add so much value to you that the same people that were looking at you and thinking they were looking down at you, the next time they see you, they will start by asking, but where is so and so? We used to, like everywhere we used to go, we used to find them. But right now, it seems like we are not finding them anywhere. And now they're going to say, yeah, Ulida. If she or he feels that he's better than us, not knowing that, by the way, it was not just a switch, but there is a mindset change, and God is preparing you for bigger. And when he's preparing you for bigger, he's not going to prepare you before everyone. So that is a mindset change of the 2%. Imposter syndrome has nothing on them. Now, I will tell you, the biggest trait of the 92%, they are trying to figure it out. Trying to? The 98, yes. Do you know figuring it out, what it takes? Have you ever seen people who jump from business to business? They are trying to figure themselves out. If you are here and you're thinking, let me just sit here and see how this thing is going, but I don't think this thing is mine, but I am here. I paid my money. You are also trying to figure yourself out. How many of you are here? And I want us to be very honest with ourselves. You are totally immersed to the point of no turning back and to the point of no surrender. I know there must be like 2 or 3. Most of you are lying to me. Hands up again. Now there are 2 different things. There is you wanting it and longing for it. Yes. And there is you being totally convinced without a shadow of doubt that this is where I want to be. Now that is 2%. Those people act differently. No amount of tossing around will take them off the course. Whether the industry is upside down, whether people don't have money, whether people don't show up. Let me tell you, even if you showed up, one of you here, I will deliver like I'm delivering to 1,000. Now, that is a person that has decided, I am not turning. Like, I have arrived. If I was going to the moon and, the spaceship brought me here, I'm like, no, there is no earth for me. It is here or here. So let me deal with the gravity issues. Let me deal with everything that, whether vegetation does not grow here, it's okay. We will find a way of surviving, and then at first we will sink, we will be like, and then we will start surviving, and then we will start thriving. And when you start thriving, let me tell you, the level of thriving is going to be totally different. The level of thriving is going to be totally different. But for as long as, have you seen people in relationships? They are here, and they are here. They're like, there's someone who told me, and an old woman told me, but I'm looking for a younger man like this. As soon as I get this younger man, so that I can let go of this man that I have. Because I can't, and the man that she got that man while she was with another man. So she's saying, I don't want these things of going home, and then I am there looking at internet, and then I have to take juice, and then I have to sleep, and then I want someone who can occupy me on the chat. I want someone who can take me out. And this person I'm talking about is 52 years old. So just imagine if she's still doing that now. How much did she do when she was 20? I think she had like 5. Who is calling? While she's showering to go to this date, another one is calling. Or another one has delivered a flower or something like that. Do you know that a person in a marriage or a relationship can know that for you arrived and you arrived? Like you are here, you are present. You are present. They feel your presence circulating them. And they feel like you are not going anywhere. But do you know there are people in marriages, they know that niwaba wa omulungi aja ansinga kaka tono wait. They are gone. Yes, there are people in marriages like that. By the way, they are there. Or in a relationship. There is a woman who told me, I sat with this man on a date and I saw another nice man who was looking at me. And I prayed for this man to go to the washroom, and this man was not going to the washroom because I wanted to slide. Because the other man was showing me all the signs like he's interested, but this one was failing me. And that is where I came with a topic of how to understand when someone says, tuliawo. You know, someone is not giving you a heads up of, we're in a relationship and you're the only person, but tulia, we will see. What is we will see? We will figure it out. So do you see that 98% are figuring it out? Now, even in the coaching, 98% are figuring it out. They're like, you know what? They will make, have you ever seen people with multiple business cards? When they meet you according to what you want, they will start checking, what am I giving this person? And then after that, they have a cleaning service, and then they have a printing service, and then they have, so according to who they meet, they check the cards, and then they will give you that. When will they ever concentrate on one thing? Because when you concentrate, when you have the 2% mindset, this is what happens. You dominate 98% of the world. 98% of the wealth. 98% of the credibility, of the fraction of the people that you serve. You dominate that. If you are in the 98, you are only scrambling for the 2% that the 98 are scrambling for. So you choose where you want to belong. 92, with people with 2% mindset, they dominate 98% of the world. And the people with 98 kind of mindset, they scramble. Because this is scrambling. Because you're many, right? There are so many people that have this kind of mindset. So 2%, you are fully engaged in the lifestyle. You even change your lifestyle. You think some of us just arrived at these lifestyles that we are at? No, we chose them. The moment you knew you were a people helper, for us, no one was even telling us we are people helpers. No one was encouraging us or motivating us. But when we arrived and we figured out, hey, people see something in us, we were like, okay, now it's time to change the lifestyle. Like you change like you fully engage. Yeah. Let me tell you, there are times I would go to a place. I used to have some friends, even my sister, whenever she would come back, you know, from the UK, and then it's December, she wants you to go happening. Let me tell you, there are times I would escort them and stop at the club door. Like club door. Like where you see the lights, people are going to dance, everyone is in high G, and I'm like, leave me in the car. And what am I doing in the car? I am watching videos, I am researching. Just imagine, at 2 a.m. in the morning. And then I would even tell the askari, I have remained in this car, so please loiter around, don't go far. There are so many places I have not gone to because I'm like, you know what, I cannot be seen doing that. I can't. So now you choose the way you put on, you choose, even my tailor knows that when I have to put on something, it cannot be stopping this side. It has to cover that. Even if I have, I have to, when I am talking, people don't have to look at the geography and the history of what. That is a lifestyle that you choose. When I got, by the way, when I got to even marriage, I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm not going to just marry anyone. No. Do you know the number of men I turned down? Some of them are still my enemies to date. And I'm like, mujja kuba bulungi. Yeah. I told you at some point I got at the verge of getting married 1 week too. And I became a runaway bride. Like seriously. Why? Because I have something that is more important than me to choose. So if I am choosing service, I am choosing someone who is going to support this service. I am not choosing someone who is going to pull me down from this service. Serving my God is a priority for me. So if anyone is going to think, oh, you're so prominent, but you know now prominent people can't be wives, stay with your mindset. That is 98%. Hey, celebrities don't cook 98%. If I'm in 2%, I must marry someone who is in 2%. Someone who can buy me a car of 300 millions. Wow. But when you are choosing that lifestyle, half the time you don't know where it is going. So you realize that God helps you to eliminate everything that is going to be a heavy weight, because God wants you to serve while you are lightweight. without a heavy heart. Have you ever seen people serving with a heavy heart? You're here saying something, but for you, you're going through something. I don't think we need that. So, the 92 mindset, okay? I need us to be able to look at that mindset. That mindset determines the income you generate. It determines the success that you achieve in life. It determines the kind of books that you read. It determines the kinds of friends that you have. I talked about the marriage partner. It determines sometimes that kind of church you will go to. The 2%. It will determine who you follow and who you do not follow on social media. The 2% mindset. There are certain people that you will see and say, this kind of mindset is not something that I want to see on my timeline. And good enough, all the social media platforms, you can be able to say, never show me that content again. You can unfollow. You can take them from, and let me tell you, this is the thing that will happen. Some of you are thinking, oh, I follow these people and they are so great. 6 months from now, you'll look at the same content and you'll be like, but what was I thinking? I don't know whether that has happened to you. And then you will go back and unfollow. It sounds weird. It sounds so bad. But you'll be like, I do not want my feed to be wasted on something that I don't want to consume. They served me 6 months ago. But right now, I have outgrown that kind of level. And you will keep outgrowing many. You will even start seeing some frauds. Underneath it, I can see lies. Underneath it, I can see wanting quick money but not wanting to serve. Your eyes are going to be open when you have the 2% mindset. All right? People who don't believe in their books, who don't believe in their content, who don't believe in what they have to offer. So every time they are bargaining, the reason as to why you will bargain, the reason as to why you will, you will even be surprised when people need your products, it's because you're not yet in the 2% mindset. You still have a 98% mindset. That is where most people are. It's a limbo of so many people. So many people helpers are walking like zombies in the 98%. But the moment you trust, and I don't know whether some of you believe in yourself, but I believe in myself too much. Too much. And it's not hereditary. No, it cannot be inherited from anyone. It can't. It's the support of God, but again, you must push yourself there. The moment you believe in anything, let me tell you, you become a sought after. They look for you. Why? Because you believe what you have is very. And then 2%, you actually don't compete. You don't have any competition. I don't believe I have any competition. I don't. That's why I can support anyone else that is doing what I am doing. Because they are serving their corner of the world. I'm serving my corner of the world. I cannot serve everyone. So 92% mindset believes you don't have competition. You are in this to win. This is your game. God brought you here. He well equipped you for this. You can increase in knowledge. You can do whatever it is that you want, but there is no competition for you, and you keep getting better and better in life. All right? Let's go to the last one. I told you you're going to deal with many negativities, all right? But you are equipped to deal with all the negative mindsets. But you have to realize that I am a 2%. So anything that you write, I want you to be able to speak to yourself and say, you know what, I am a 2% mindset. So what must I eliminate from my life? What must I add? What my belief systems and all that, what must I do? Because 2% you are focused, you are prayed up. Because that is part of having a 2% mindset, being prayed up. Have you ever prayed and you go into a place where you would think there would be an attack of some sorts and you feel like, you know what, I am sorted. Like, I am protected. There are certain places I used to go to and I would know that there's a lot that is being done, especially family. There's a lot that is being done. There's a lot of, witchcraft. There's a lot of words. There's a lot. So for me, you come from a week of prayer and fasting and you go and you're like there is not even a demon. Even if they called one, it would not turn up. Like it can't. How? It can't. It can't. And this I learned from my mother. My mother is quite a prayerful person. But they will bring people so many times in our home people who were demon possessed. And my mother would say one word, like, do not touch. Like maybe these guys wanted to attack or, and they are strong, so strong. I remember some of them would jump up into the ceiling, like without any kind of help. Like they are really, really possessed. And she would just say, do not touch the anointed. Sit down and fold your arms. And this person would sit in the corner and fold their arms. And they would even say, Mututu tewaka kazako. That means that's spiritual. They have the eyes. They know. They can sense that now this is not a joke. This is not our territory. You ask them questions. They're like, where are you from? And they're like, this was the door that we used, She went to Lumbe, she was given food, she ate, and this is how we gained access into her. It's like, what do you want? All we want is to kill her, nothing more. It's like she's staying alive and you're going. And they would have to go. Yeah. So that means we have more authority than we care to know. I know for some of you these things are strange. But to me they are not strange. It used to be daily breakfast. Yeah, sometimes they will bring them when my mother is not around. Derek used to see those things. My mother is not around and I am the one at home. And I'll be like, yeah, bring him in. And I think some of those people were like, hey, what's wrong with, like, bring them in. And some of them will be like, ha, this person is going to beat you up, he's going to do what, he's going to do what. And I'm like, you know what, I am prayed up. And I was very young, by the way. I think I was in secondary. And I would still say, with the anointing, I would rebuke them. I would, by the way, and then my mother would come and then would give her stories. They brought so and so here, and while I locked all my siblings in the house, in the bedroom, I would be like, no. I would make sure that I have some big people, definitely, they're strong people to come and fight, but I would lock all my siblings in the room because I knew they didn't know how to pray. So I would come and then would tell, and then she would say, what did you do? I say, I prayed for them. Where are they now? They went back walking. They came on ropes, but they went back walking. And she would look at me and she would laugh. She was like, first tell me, what did you do exactly? And I would tell her, I used the same word that you usually use. And I was like, and did they work? I was like, yes, they worked. Now, but you see a person who believes in themselves? You believe in yourself so much that you're like, I can actually do this. I don't need to tell them to take their sick person away. The same power that my mother has, it is also running in my veins. So I am going to rebuke it. But that takes self-belief. Now, when you come to the arena of coaching, the moment you do not believe in yourself, we smell you from miles away. We know you. In the counseling session, someone will sit and will look at you and they will look around, they will look at the office. But if you are saying things that are penetrating their hearts, they have their eyes on you, and half the time they're like, is this a witch doctor? Is this, like, how comes this person has spoken words? And there will be no more words that anyone has heard. But they'll be like, how comes these words sound? Most of them tell me that you have too much authority. Like, so by the time someone says you have too much authority, it's because you are so sure about what you're talking about. When I tell a woman that, you know what? Watch, in less than 2 months, if you do not change your behavior, your husband is leaving you. And guess what? He will get peace wherever he goes. It's like, now what do I have to do? Hey, let's come back to the basics. Because the things that you have to do are very small. Be present. Love him. If you don't love him, don't waste his time. Let him go right now. He will feel the pain, but he will heal. And God will give him someone who will love him. And before you know it, they're celebrating 5 years anniversary. Before you know it, they have a child named Hilda. And, like, seriously. Because I do not want to beat around the bush by being too conventional. 2% mindset is not conventional. They don't do things because others are doing them. Even in the coaching practice, in the counseling practice, they don't ask questions. Okay, so what do you want to do? No, they don't have time for that. The way they carry out their sessions, even when they are speaking in public, people have literally told me that, you know what, there is no way someone can put on your YouTube channel and then I fail to listen because, like, your voice is so authoritative. Someone literally wants to watch the video while you are speaking. Someone cannot listen passively. How do you arrive at such authority? 2% mindset. You are so sure that whatever you are saying is life-changing. And you're not just saying things for the sake of, you're not filling in the blanks, no. You're not sitting in for someone, no. You are showing up in the authority that you have. 92% is all about skill. Every time they're like, it seems I don't have enough skill, let me go and get more skill. It seems I don't have, like they're always getting something, grabbing something, looking for something to better themselves. That means they don't believe in themselves. 2% mindset, they will get what is helpful to them. Even when they're deciding on a certain skill, by the way, they will be very, 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 very careful who they get that skill from, number one, and what kind of skill that they get. And then they will not be everywhere. All right? So I need, do we understand the difference about the dominating power of 2%? Because I want us to all cross into the 2%. Just ask yourself, what would happen if your mindset changed all of a sudden and you became too positive about your life and the things that God has placed inside of you? The moment you start fearing, right now you're like, the industry is saturated. The industry is saturated with 98%. Get it from me. The industry is saturated by 98%. The 2% are very, very few. And guess what? The 2% are not making noise. The 2% are not speaking about themselves. They're not speaking about what they're doing. They're not showing receipts. They are not, but they are performing. Because they're in their lane and they are drinking their water and they are minding their business. And they are sought after. People seek for them. They are not the ones seeking for people. Does that mean you don't create content? Create content by all means. But again, you're not going to create content for emergency, like there is a dying case. Right? You're not going to be so desperate because people smell desperation. You are going to share when you feel like sharing. But you're going to be consistent at it because you know that this is a tool. All the platforms are tools that God has given to us to actually promote his agenda and to promote people helping. So you're going to be consistently showing up, but you're not going to show up with desperation. Please, I beg, if you don't buy from me, I am going to. And by the way, some of these things are jokes. I think we've seen those reels of, guys, we are tired of creating content, just come and buy. Those are jokes and nice jokes. They keep us going on the platform. But there are times you really see someone that is very, very desperate. And we do not want to be desperate. I don't want to buy from someone that is too desperate. I would actually bypass someone that is desperate and buy from someone who is not desperate because I was like, why aren't they desperate when others are desperate? Seems what they have is good. So let me go and... It's like the meat. When you go to a butcher that does not have flies and one that has flies, everyone will tell you, go to the one that has flies. Because chances are the one that doesn't have flies has, what is it called? Formalin. So the meat is preserved by the chemicals that preserve dead bodies. So it is sparkling clean and no flies. And you're thinking, and it is a bit whitish. While the other one that has flies, it is reddish, it is like real meat. So you go to the one that has flies. And go and wash properly and cook and enjoy your meat. Okay? So the power of the mindset.